We are Lagostalks 91.3.
Let's talk.
Yes, Lagostalks 91.3 FM, Adu and the Guru, the segment you'll be waiting for. And thank you for keep on waiting for us as we keep on waiting for you here, because we are making the program thicker, better on daily basis. So thank you very, very much that you are there to hear us. We are coming on air a little late. It's because of the exigency. You know, today is public holiday. So maybe the roads are too free. That is why I get to here. Now, let me start to this historical perspective differently from what you have always heard about it. And before I even mention that, let me tell you with all enthusiasm that I have a very special guest in the studio with me today. I will mention him in a jiffy, but for now, he arrived here very, very promptly at about 9 o'clock. That is very, very good for a top Nigerian to keep. I guess he will be the second person that will be arriving in the studio like this. The first one I recollect is Abdul Rashid Bawa, the executive chairman of the EFCC. In fact, that one got here about 8:30 that day. And my dear brother, my dear friend, just a teacher, I will give you his name later, arrived here before about 3 minutes to 9 o'clock. So I will mention him, but let's do this quickly. Historical perspective today is not going to go the normal way, like as I said. Instead, we are replacing it, and that replacement is only for today. As from next week, we revert back to status quo ante. There is a petition submitted here by Yaya Abiodun Baba today against Lagos State Task Force. And the chairman of the Lagos State Task Force, his name is the Superintendent of Police, Shola Jeje Luyi, is the chairman of the task force. And we have Malik as the PRO of the task force. And of course, this is known to the Lagos State Police PRO. What the petition? I'm not saying Lagos State PRO participated in the alleged misdemeanor, but the story is well known to him. I'm talking of CSP, Chief Superintendent of Police, Muyiwa Adi. Okay. It's to the extent that last week Friday something bizarre happened. Lagos State Task Force apprehended a few people. One of them happened to be a woman, saw her in Niger, took her down to their office. Of course, at the point of apprehension, the first thing they did was one of their men entered the vehicle and told the woman to come down and drove the vehicle. I am not too sure if the insurance of that vehicle secured the man from the task force. Because it is not a regular thing to do. The insurance might not have covered that man. But yet he pushed the woman out and drove. To me, that is the first charges, if I were to prepare my charges against the. Then they got there. As they were getting to the gate, they put the woman down, said, go down. Nobody's allowed to enter our premises. How, therefore, would the woman know what to do? And from 9 o'clock or thereabout in the morning, what are my offenses? Nobody gave. What is the... What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to pay money? Please, how much am I paying? So that I can go and run my other errand. Nobody talked to her until about 4 or 5 p.m. When they came at that hour, they said, you are supposed to pay so much of money, and we are supposed to add this, but just bring 35,000 naira. Then the woman said, okay, I will pay the 35,000 naira as long as I get my receipt. Where is the office I will pay? He said, no, bring cash. We'll pay it for you. The woman now gave cash. Then the woman said, you have to take my name fully. And he said, I have the name in the document. No. That name is my husband's name, my name, so that it will be on record that I paid. Then he now came back to say, so if that is the way you want to go, your vehicle will be here for till next week, and we'll do this, and we'll pound it. So he took bribe of 35,000 naira thereabout. I have the name, but I am holding on because I need to talk to the chairman of the task force. Sometimes Lagos State Task Force operates like a semi-god, which is not too good. So, but I think I will pick this issue as from tomorrow. I will talk with the chairman today because I am going to invite the chairman. If he wants, let him come. If he doesn't want to come, that is his headache. I am going to invite him to the studio to come and explain what actually happened, because I must not go fully because I heard from one side. Everything, because I told them I will not take anything verbatim. Everything is documented. And after pulling everything out, I'll send it back to the person who wrote the petition. Sign this copy, and the person signed the copy and returned it back to me, meaning I fulfill all righteousness on investigative matters. So that is the historical perspective. So, Shola Jejeloye, you are a superintendent of police. Be ready, I will call you this afternoon, and I'm inviting you that you will come to this studio tomorrow, Tuesday, 4th of May, 2021. It is for your interest because Nigerians will want to hear your voice. Because it might not go as the lady explained it. So your version is needed. And of course, if you are coming, you can come with your PRO, that is Malik. And of course, the name, when I call you, I will give you the name of your officer who took the bribe of 35,000 naira. And so that if you may not want to come with him, I'm not summoning him, but you will get details from him out, because sometimes they do this one when Oga no know. And I want to believe, Oga, you don't know, but come and explain your stand. So that's historical perspective. I move straight away to the
Let's get into the menu. Now, our menu today is brief, but it's very nutritious, if I may. So, let's start from number 1. Insecurity, Senator Adeyemi weeps, says Nigeria on fire. That is from the Daily Post. Also on the menu, Boko Haram now occupying Niger communities. Governor speaking, and that is on the Premium Times. We'll call that from there. And menu number 3, Nigeria's actual daily oil production unknown. Naity insists. That's from the pages of the This Day newspaper. Number 4, governors cry out, demand action from Buhari as 21 more Nigerians killed.
Yes.
Reported by The Punch. And last but not least, no fuel price increase without fixing refineries. The NLC is speaking, and that is from The Punch newspaper.
Thank you very much, Adu. You got it. Very brief, but we will not even be able to exhaust it, as brief as they might be, because I want to give my guest adequate time after I would have spoken, so that he can answer as many calls as you callers are prepared to give to him. But I know the man sitting with me in the studio. You will never be disappointed by the time you hear from him. I will still give you his name, but let me come to this. The last on the menu says, no fuel price increase without fixing refineries, says Nigeria Labour Congress. It's a means of keeping the shitting tab on Nigerians perpetually. With this, one would think that the Nigeria Labour Congress is fighting for the interests of Nigerians by saying no fuel price increase without fixing refineries. Says it is an agreed position taken. I'm saying this with all authority. We should not forget that $1.9 billion, is it billion or million? Going for refinery...
Billion. $billion.
Billion. That is the one starting with B?
Yes.
I-L-L-O-N. I think that is bigger than me.
Oh, absolutely.
It's bigger than me. All right. The federal government had insisted and gone ahead. I will quote Wole Soyinka again, say, we are tired of talking to deaf and dumb. To go ahead to repair is turn around maintenance for the refineries in Port Harcourt. They did not tell us which of, because you have 2 refineries in Port Harcourt. But when the Minister of State, of course, Whenever I listen to the Minister of State, I will never hold him responsible because I have a minister who is President Muhammadu Buhari. I will hold him responsible because apart from being the minister, I must honor him one way. He's not the only one that is holding that ministry to. He's not the only one. When Olusegun Obasanjo came, the best of Olusegun Obasanjo did was to appoint a technical advisor on petroleum matter. That is engineer Lukman Riwanu of blessed memory. That classical man who had served at the world level of petroleum and everything. That's the best Obasanjo went. And then when Yar'Adua came, I think Yar'Adua had the portfolio. Then when Goodluck Jonathan came, Goodluck Jonathan seeded it out. But that beautiful girl called designer play some games with it. But that's not the issue. So it is not only Buhari that is holding on to that portfolio. But they always know how to hold it to it because that is the life wire of the nation. Now, they have gone ahead to sign the contract because that 1.9 million, they must take away. I think the sharing formula would have been completed if the money had not even moved now into individuals' accounts. Because when they were now giving us the discharge date, they told us that the final phase before refining could start would be something around October or November 2023. And these are people that are leaving the scene 29th of May 2023, all things being equal, if the program is not changing, all things being equal. Now, they have gone like that. Meaning, there must have been synergy. Because for crime to take supremacy in any society, there are synergies between crime institutions, anti-crime institutions, and individual, either mover of crimes and receiver of crimes commodities or those fighting crime. Until the synergy is taking place, there can never be sources of this. So they would have compromised a lot of people. The statement of Nigeria Labour Congress, what it's telling us is that no fuel price increase without fixing refinery. Meaning, until the refineries are fixed, don't talk of price increase. Which means a common Nigeria will now be thinking, okay, they are going to fix the refinery. We are refining as from. It is all lies. It is all boo-boo to take us as captives into the kingdom of corruption perpetually. So let us not rely on that. The Nigeria Labour Congress had to say that in order to fulfill their part of the bargain, whatever the bargain is. Otherwise, we know that this 1.9 million naira is already thrown to the Atlantic Ocean, though there are big sharks under the Atlantic Ocean.
$1 billion.
Why am I mentioning naira?
Maybe you have some naira for me today. Maybe.
And if somebody should give me naira, and I will not accept if it is not dollar. Okay, my apology for thinking of naira instead of thinking of dollar. There are some big sharks in the Atlantic Ocean now that would have swallowed those, and those sharks will deliver the money into the bank accounts of individuals that are involved. The same way that shark delivered Jonah to the port of Nineveh the other day. So let me finish with that. Number 4, governors cry out, demand action from Buhari as 21 more Nigerians killed. This was last week, is it Tuesday or Wednesday? But since then to now, how many Nigerians are killed? Do we have the number? I will not lose count of them. So, because I must give time to my... So, I think these things will just be mentioned and put on suspension. Then tomorrow, Wednesday, we'll pick them up. We are not going to carry them over to next week, Monday. During the Money Digest, I will bring them up so that we can discuss them. Number 1, insecurity. Senator Adeyemi whips, says Nigeria on fire. Not only Senator Adeyemi, I have comprehensive list of comments from the 109 senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I think they are complete now because the last one that was the Dagli had been sworn in. So they are complete. All of them spoke, affirming that the president had lost control. Don't forget, Shettima about 4 weeks ago spoke. Shettima was the first former governor of Borno State who handed over to Professor Babagana Zulu. For Shettima to have come out publicly to speak, I thought that would have moved President Muhammadu Buhari. Because Shettima had been somebody who defended President Muhammadu Buhari with even his blood, with his life. A die-hard followers of President Muhammadu Buhari. He would be ready to take the bullet for President Muhammadu Buhari. But for President Muhammadu Buhari, not to listen to what Shettima said, to me it's an irony of life. The man said, everything is finished there. He was talking of his Borno Aziz. That everything is finished. Then the Sultan, his eminence of Sokoto, a man not used to talking too much, at his level. And being a military officer, he retired as a brigadier general. Of course, at the time he was in Pakistan and defense attaché. A man of that level, he would have respect for hierarchy in the military. But for him to have come out to talk, and President Muhammadu Buhari would do it here. Why would President Muhammadu Buhari not here? Of course, those around him, those running, those referred to by Kaba, those the wife referred to as having hijacked the government from his wife, from his sons, from the husband. That's what she said. And we have no reason to falter, no evidences to falter, no facts to falter. They will not allow President Muhammadu Buhari to take action or to even hear what is happening. I want to believe so. There are many there. The uncle is one of them, Gabashewu, and many of them. There are some of them who are ministers, they are there. There are some of them who are nephew, they are there. But how would I blame that person for the evil that is befalling us in Nigeria? Instead, I will blame the man that was voted into office. The buck, according to President Truman, the number one president of the United States of America, he said that the buck stops on his table. It is President Muhammadu Buhari that I will hold responsible. And while Senator Adeyemi was presenting this matter, he was now weeping. We all saw it. We saw the video. He was weeping on the floor of the Senate. He wasn't the only one talking. All the 109 senators spoke positively in support that, sir, you are not in charge. Okay. In fact, it was agreed in the motion that let all the 109 senators go and meet him.
But it was in the same time he was speaking, the senator, one of the senators.
Don't go there. Don't go there.
Okay.
Must you do that to Asiwaju Bola Tinubu? Ahmed. Okay, what I do is try to tell you. He has facts, so he's loaded with facts. So I do compliment me here. Without him, I will be sailing almost empty. It was only Remi, Ahmed, Bola Tinubu, the Jagaban wife, the Asiwaju wife, the Eko himself wife, that was now talking to Senator Smart at the EMA, and the naked. He said, "Are you now in the PDP? Are you now? What's the name she called?
Wolf in sheep's clothing."
It was a wolf in sheep. Okay, it's understandable. When eventually not Olushola, Bukola Saraki, Senator Bukola Saraki, Dr. Senator Bukola Saraki, took over as Senate President on that June of that year, while all the senators from the APC were waiting at the Conference International Center to meet with Buhari. When they now returned back, because somebody phoned Remi Tinubu that, where are you? He said, then he asked the person, let me not mention the name of the caller. It's a senator too. He said, where am I? We are here now. We are waiting to. He said, which president are you waiting for? He said, no, the president will address us before going for inauguration. He said, which inauguration? That inauguration are taking place too. Bukola Saraki have become Senate president. This is how all of them scattered. Some of them probably trekked, some of them even pick Okada. They went to the Senate. Of all the senators that came in, as the president, the inaugurated president of the Senate, he shook hands with all of them. The only one that refused to shake that hand was Remi Tinubu. So it is not unexpected, as he said this, of course, that you are talking negatively to Smart does not make it easier for your husband to become the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in 2023. Is it when Nigeria remains that your husband will become president of Nigeria? Can your husband become a president of a country that is out of existence, that history is now writing there was a country? So people are dying. Everyone is dying. You would say a wolf in
Sheep's clothing.
sheep clothing. Are you not PDP? Anyway, we will talk more about this in the next days. Boko Haram now occupying Niger communities, governor. Every details of that discussion, I will upload it on my website, www.godwiththeguru.com, by the grace of God by 5 p.m. today, so that you will hear what every one of them said. 143 kilometers, Boko Haram flag is there now in Niger State. Kauri, in Shiroro local government. And it takes 2 hours to drive from the place that the flag of Boko Haram is flying now into the villa. Which means Boko Haram, they are about 2 hours to the villa. I cannot see how the president will be sleeping with his 2 eyes closed in the villa. Of course, there is security. You are secured. But if now that they are within the edge of entry to Abuja, how safe will lives of all people there be?
Well, the federal government did speak today as a response and said federal capital territory is not under attack.
Yes. It's not under attack. We pray it should not be under attack. But if all Nigerians in other parts of the country are dying, is that condolence messages? Is that what we elected President Muhammadu Buhari to be doing? Did we elect him to be sending condolence messages? We elected the man to do something for us. He's not doing it. And I'm not the one talking now. All the governors. What did Fayemi said? He's not supposed to be part of this discussion. He told the youths,
do something.
Do something. Push APC away if they are not. Hey. We have Rofo waiting for us. I'm borrowing Fela language.
Rofo, what does it mean?
Rofo fight. Rofo battle.
Oh, I see.
Waiting for the body and enough the body.
Double wahala.
Double wahala. We have double wahala in Nigeria. Well, I will reproduce all these things tomorrow and next tomorrow. So you are not losing anything. But the details of Sam Adeyemi weeping, he's a senator of the APC. Then if you go to the fact that there is a letter signed from NNPC going to the Accountant General of the Federation and others saying there will be zero allocation of fund for May, June, July. Because they said we are not broke. I don't know who they are telling this. Do they talk to us that all Nigerians, they just believe in that Kaaba? How many people have even there at the Kaaba? But they have taken Nigeria to hostage you. So they believe they are talking to some bunch of idiots that we are not broke. Oh, you are not broke. What has been coming yearly, is no more coming. And when Governor Obaseki said, they pretend to augment this one. All of you said, is telling lies. Until Governor Emefiele came to say, yes, we pretend, but it's usual. Until later, Governor Emefiele, Zainab, senators, governor, collapse again to say, God, we told lies. Now, nothing is coming. Go and print now. Anyway, the mission must move to the permanent side. Permit me, therefore, because I will never tamper with knowledge Dropbox today. It's too rich. Because we are going to talk about Debbie, who died in action. We must not just, we should remember the man because he wanted to help us at the time. And while our commanders and co were sleeping, he was in the battlefield. But we have some revelation, knowledgeable revelation about him. So, ladies and gentlemen, permit me now at this point to bring to the microphone my guest for today. His name is Professor, I told you he's a teacher, Professor Joseph Abugu. He is a very, very senior lecturer at the University of Lagos. And I was talking with him in the conference hall this morning that how many days more do you have to lecture at the man told me that I still have about, is it 16 or so years to go? Then I said, okay. You know, lecturers, they retire these days at age of 70. I think some people in the judiciary too, 70. Which is good. Professor Joseph Abugu is a senior advocate of Nigeria. He's here to tell us something about terror and how terror can be dealt with from the perspective of the law of the land. And Mini is going to talk more about the constitutionality or otherwise of what is happening. Professor Joseph Abugu, you are welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you, Guru. Adu, thank you. Nice to be here.
Nice to have you, sir.
It's good having you, sir. Straight away, let us not waste time, sir. You are very, very much aware of terrorism as it has captured the whole country, so to say. Is there any role the Constitution can play, either to escalate terrorism or to reduce it or to eliminate it, sir? Let's start from that point of view.
Guru, first, I want to underscore and make some clear statements.
Yes, please go ahead.
The fact is there's terror in the land. And from what you have said, and it is right there in the public domain, there is terror. There is insecurity. The welfare of the people of Nigeria is being endangered. And it is something we must all speak about.
Thank you, sir.
Whether you are a specialist in terror and terrorism, or whether you are a specialist in law, or whether you are a social crusader, you are a legislator, you are a teacher, we should all speak about it.
Thank you, sir.
Because what it has stake, it's our destiny. The destiny of this country as a nation state is what is being endangered.
Okay.
To speak about it, therefore, should not be branded as being anti-government or anti-APC.
Thank you, sir.
Or whoever speaks critically of what we are all witnessing should not be tagged a PDP person or someone who is out to destabilize the government. In fact, the contrary is the case. We are all trying to address issues that will potentially destabilize this country, fundamentally. A number of people have made the point that, a war is not a play game. It's not a war game. Not like the stuff the children play with
In video games.
In video games. A number of times, you can just imagine when there are some civil commotions, riots, and a place like a Ikorodu Road, you cannot drive past. And you need to stay at home. You do stay at home because you believe that the situation will be under control.
Yes.
Just imagine if that situation is not under control for a week. It will give you an inkling of what a war situation would look like. When you are no longer sure of your next step. When you are not sure you can pull your car out of your garage. When you are not sure someone will not be knocking on your door to dispossess you, to maim and kill. So, I speak as a Nigerian.
That's good,
I
sir.
speak as one who believes in one Nigeria. I speak as one who believes in a Nigeria where there will be equity and fairness.
Okay.
I believe in a Nigeria where the principle or purpose of government will be the protection of lives and property and the welfare of the people of this country.
Okay, sir. We are going to hold it there for the time being. Because the only enemy we have in this program, sir, is time.
It's
Time. So we have to be short and cut them appropriate for the audience to be able to follow, because we will still have to open our telephone lines later. They will call in not to ask me questions, but they will ask you questions. Now, there is call for, thank you, sir, for putting it appropriately. But there has been call for state policing. And there is this confusion between community policing
And state policing.
and state policing and the federal Do you think if we diversify and constitutionally enabled the states to recruit, to manage their own, that could help to stem consequences of terror that has engulfed the whole country?
Guru, first let me state this.
Yes.
You know, the terror and insecurity we are witnessing today, you can narrow down to its root cause.
Help us, please.
And this root cause or causes, I could summarize into three.
Briefly, give us.
The first is inequity.
Inequity.
The second one is unfairness.
Unfairness.
And the third one is bad governance.
Bad governance.
Yes. Okay. You see, and this is not just a question of the Buhari administration. These are things that have been festering in the Nigerian nation for years. Successive governments have had to deal with them, but they have not been able to deal with them. Both the executive arm and the legislative arm in successive administrations before the Buhari administration have failed.
Okay. Has the Buhari administration succeeded where those one failed?
I don't think so. I also think that, the Buhari administration, like its predecessors, have failed in addressing these issues of inequity, unfairness in the Nigerian nation, and indeed of bad governance.
Okay, sir.
Now, let me take them one after the other.
Okay, please be brief.
Yes, as a way of unraveling or getting a solution to what is on ground. All right. First, you mentioned the police force and what can be done. Look, let's start with the military before I come to the police force. Now, the military, kidnappings and all of that, all this wave of terror started before Buhari administration.
Yes.
You remember the Chibok girls of 2014. You remember, the Dasuki Gate, okay, was under President Jonathan, right?
Yes.
Okay. And copiously, Dasuki Gate brought forth the fact that, monies that were budgeted, for equipping the military to be able to tackle terror, were disbursed.
Yes.
For purposes not bearing on security.
Yes.
And they were disbursed, so to say, with the approval of the president. Dasuki became the scapegoat, right? And then all those who were beneficiaries of the fund became visitors of EFCC and incarcerations and prosecutions in court, right? Now, but the president who purportedly gave approval for the disbursement of those funds, nobody has interrogated him. All right. So, the security fund went into the air. Then, under this present government, we had, some few weeks ago or a month ago of how the new chief of army staff was purported to have indicated that he could not see, house funding for military equipment, have been disbursed or utilized. Of course, he quickly recanted, and then said, oh, that's not what he meant. He was misquoted out of context. But the point is this. As important as security is, with the hindsight of what has happened under Jonathan administration, one would have thought that President Buhari, in the same way the petroleum ministry was so important to be under the presidency, any new disbursement of funds for military hardware and equipment would be under the direct supervision of the president. Not so. One would have thought so. But is that what is happening? For a senior military officer to come out, to even have some doubt, as it is, as to how military funding is being expended. So that is bad governance.
Okay.
And so it has festered.
Quickly
Come to the Nigerian police force. Nigeria is still the only federation in the modern world that has a unitary system of administration.
The only democracy in the modern world
that has a unitary administrative structure.
Sorry, sir. Please hold your thought there. Was it because that Thomas Aguiyi Ironsi was assassinated in that coup because it was alleged that he was introducing unitary system of government by decree 10 of what that he inaugurated. Yeah. So you mean after the death of Aguirre, we are still practicing unitary system of government in practice?
You know the issue of the Aburi Accord,
yes,
and what precipitated the civil war,
yes,
okay, between Biafra and Nigeria,
yes.
Okay, now you see, one of the things that was proposed in the Aburi Accord that could have brought peace to Nigeria and would have stemmed that war was devolution of powers to constituent states. Now, but the Gowon government reneged on the Aburi Accord and introduced instead a unitary structure of government. And that has been the plague of this country.
And that's what we practice to date, yeah?
Exactly.
Okay.
So even the 1999 Constitution, specifically provides there shall be only one police force in this country.
The Constitution says so.
Yes, the Constitution said so clearly. That there shall be only one police force in this country. With an Inspector General of Police. But it then provided, that the National Assembly has powers to make laws for the organization of that force. So presently we have the Police Act that regulates this, the structure of the administration. That's the national, the federal statute regulating, the administration of the force, pursuant to the provisions of the Constitution. Now, only recently, in 2020, the Police Act
was
amended by the National Assembly. So it is easy for senators to be crying in the chambers of the National Assembly when they were amending that act in 2020, some few months back.
Yes.
Did it not occur to them that there's a fundamental defect in the structure of the Nigerian police? Couldn't they have introduced amendments to decentralize the Nigerian police force?
They could.
Rather, it was even reinforced.
Exactly, but instead they reinforced it. This was only some few months back.
Yes.
At a time when the issue of community policing was rife in discourse, in public discourse, the issue of state police has been a lingering issue. Okay, they didn't address these matters. And then, look, my brothers and sisters, take it a little bit forward again. The APC government was voted in on one firm promise to restructure this country.
Yes, I remember.
And sooner after Buhari took over, he reneged on this promise to Nigerians. For me, I think that was a critical pact and plank upon which he came into office.
The restructuring of the Nigeria Federation.
Exactly. And when we talk about restructuring, yes, we can talk about technicalities, but the common denominator is the fact that we want devolution of power to constituent states. And that will include institutions like the Nigerian police. Okay? What has the National Assembly done? The Buhari government reneged on restructuring. Even its own constituted committee headed by El-Rufai produced a report in favor of devolution and restructuring. The same APC government threw it away and kept it in the cooler. All right. But what about the National Assembly? Could they, for example, have dusted the Jonathan Confab report and say, look, let's quickly do something and introduce some changes that are, with some element of a common agreement in the 2014 Confab? But they haven't done anything like that. Instead, they now constitute the committee of the National Assembly and say, we want to do constitutional law reform. People should begin to send in memoranda. How long is that going to take? 2023 is around the corner.
It's around the corner. Okay.
So, both the legislative arm and the executive are derelict as far as taking positive steps to address the root causes that I've just mentioned.
Yes.
Inequity, unfairness, and bad governance.
Okay, thank you very, very much. Wow. Now, is there any way? I know you have one or two questions.
I'm just drinking from the well of knowledge.
Prepare for your own. Let me ask this question. Okay. Prepare for your own. Is there how given the fact of where we are now, how can the Constitution, first of all, thank God you are a senior advocate of Nigeria. The late FRA, Frederick Rotimi Williams, the law,
yes,
once said that the 1999 Constitution is a big fraud because the preambles, I'm not going to ask you to contradict or how can this same Constitution now be used to bring solace to the issue at hand, that life has become meaningless in Nigeria? Please be brief on that.
Well, we are facing realities.
Yes.
How do we address and stem the glide towards, annihilation as it is?
Annihilation.
Quickly, the Nigerian police force needs to be decentralized. And it's within the powers of the National Assembly
to get that done.
Because even though the Constitution provides for one police force, its structure and administration is left to the National Assembly under the Constitution, so they can do something about it within the confines of the Constitution. But if you want a much more holistic overhaul, you need to visit the Constitution.
The Constitution itself?
The Constitution itself.
Need to be visited?
Yes, and address this issue of one police force. But the truth is this. Even though the Constitution spoke about the one police force, what is happening today? The governors who swore to uphold the Constitution are setting up security outfits. We have Amoteku. We have Ebube Agu. We have Hizbah in the northeast.
Yes.
We have ESN
in the southeast.
All underscoring the fact that the existing policing architecture has failed.
It's not working.
This is a revelation.
They have failed. So, regional security outfits have been created out of necessity. Isn't that clear enough to anyone that the existing architecture needs to be overhauled? Then, of course, Guru, is the issue of a complete restructure of the architecture of the Federation. Again, this is not rocket science. It is not something esoteric. It just requires the political will
to get it done.
So while we are speaking, those of us, or Nigerians who believe in the power of prayers, let them pray for Buhari's heart to be softened, to embrace the fact that this country needs restructuring. If he can do that, even at this towards the tail end of his administration, he will probably go down in history as one of the greatest, presidents we've ever had.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Hold it there. Adu, your question briefly.
Okay, so my question was, I have two questions.
Maybe time will permit you with one.
Okay, we get a lot of calls.
Yes.
People agitated and saying, the vision of a country unified under one government is not working. Let this person go their way, let that person go their way. And I always tell callers that the National Assembly is the place to focus their attention on. Even the presidency did respond to people who were secessionists in their description to focus on the National Assembly. Does the National Assembly by law have any powers to grant people the opportunity to decide whether or not they want to follow with the Nigerian vision or not?
As I said in my opening statement, I believe in one Nigeria. I believe it is better for us to stay as one. You know, there is strength
Working together.
in oneness, in size, you know, in the whole of this sub-region, African sub-region or West African sub-region.
Yes.
You know, a big and strong, viable Nigerian nation will be the pride of the black man everywhere. So rather than tear ourselves to bits, let us work this federation and make it workable. Establish standards of fairness and equity to all constituent parts. And establish a structure that will guarantee that the security and welfare of the average Nigerian. Yes, the 1999 Constitution, with all its flaws, no doubt still remains the ground norm, the basic law in this land. You may question its legitimacy. Its legitimacy is a question, you know, that has to do with its moral basis, whether it was imposed or whether, you know, some part of it reflected the wishes of Nigerians and some other part of it, you know, were foisted upon Nigerians, you know, by military government and all of that, you know. But the bottom line is that it remains the documents that hold us together. And so to that extent, we must revive it and see how we can work within its provisions to attain the desired goal. And that lies with the National Assembly. But as you can see, as has played out in the National Assembly, both in the Senate and the House of Representatives, you know, the people we have there, I dare say, you know, and painfully too, you know, I don't see representatives with principles.
No representative with principles.
They don't have principles. Everything is partisan. You know, it is one thing to say that, some are working on principles, and then on certain issues, we then talk of bipartisan, you know, cooperation to get certain things done. But here, as it is now, and has been for years, it's not just this administration, you know, the winner takes all. APC legislators are APC legislators. PDP legislators are PDP legislators. When anything comes on the floor, you know, 90% of the time, it is looked at through the prism of, you know, which party you belong to.
Okay.
And that's a problem for us.
Okay. Thank you very much on that, Professor. Thank you very, very much. But of course, let me know, 2014, the COFAB at least proved that the people, there were diversity, but it produced a document that could have been good for the country. But hold it there. The last question I will put before you, before I open my lines, and please, if you can tackle it within 2 minutes, I would appreciate it. Just a few days ago, there was a law passed. The law was made possible. A bill from the Lagos State House of Assembly, and it was signed into law by the Executive Governor, Sanwo-Olu. Public Compliance and Anti-Corruption Commission Bill 2021. Sir, I want to refer your attention to a few positions in this law. Section 33 of the law that has just been signed by Lagos State Governor says, the Commission shall, upon the commencement of this law, take over the investigation of all anti-corruption and financial crime cases involving the finances and assets of Lagos State government being investigated by any other agency. This section 13.5 says, the Commission shall have the power, to the exclusion of any other agency or body, to investigate and coordinate the investigation of corruption and financial crimes cases involving the finances and assets of Lagos State. That's number one. The most critical point I want to bring out there, sir. We know that whenever there is a conflict between a law enacted by the Nigerian National Assembly and a law by State House of Assembly, Article 4 of the Nigerian Constitution, subsection 5 of the 1999 Constitution says this: if any law enacted by the House of Assembly of a state is inconsistent with any law validly made by the National Assembly, the law made by the National Assembly shall prevail, and that other law shall, to the extent of inconsistency, be void. Sir, in just 2 minutes, please. 2 minutes is not supposed to be enough, but because of the time, in just 2 minutes.
Thank you.
Is there no battle coming?
Thank you, Guru. First, I personally commend this innovation by the Lagos State government.
You commend it?
Oh yes, the Lagos State government, over the years have proven that they are alive to interrogating constitutional issues, particularly in advancement of the so-called federation we have and the division of powers between the federal government and the state government. Now, again, you saw the issue of the creation of local governments under the Obasanjo administration. How came out at the end of the day with a constitutional statement as to the abilities of the state governments to create local governments. And it has become a locus classicus. We just pray that, it can be advanced a little bit further. Here again, the Lagos State government is interrogating the limits of the powers of the federal government vis-a-vis creating offenses and prosecuting crimes. Okay? Now, from a legal perspective, and this is my opinion, in delineating the powers of the federal government to prosecute certain crimes or create certain crimes and prosecute them vis-a-vis the powers of the state, we must look at the Constitution.
Yes, please.
Now, the Constitution basically created 2 legislative schedules. One of them is the exclusive legislative list, and the second one is the concurrent legislative list. Anything outside those 2 is what we lawyers refer to as the residual list. We call it list, but nobody really has a comprehensive, itemization of what is there. It just simply means the residue of what is not referred to in the exclusive list and the concurrent list. Okay. And then even the concurrent list, in some quarters there's this misconception that the concurrent list simply means things that both the state government and the federal government can legislate upon, and they give the impression as if, they can do overlap legislation on one particular subject. But that's not the correct legal position. The concurrent list itself delineates this legislative scope of the federal government and the state government on concurrent matters. That's the trick. Okay, on this subject.
Are you not going too technical now?
Well, I'll try and to bring it down as much as possible. On take this issue we're talking about. Crimes generally are prosecuted under the state laws. When it comes to criminal law, the southern states rely on the criminal code law of each of the states. Okay. While in the northern states, the southern states, while the northern states, they prosecute under the penal code law of each of the states. So theft, obtaining by false pretenses, and even murder, is prosecuted under state law. Okay. So, when it comes to financial crimes, and this is where the issue is, when it comes to financial crimes, the federal government created the AFCC.
Yes.
They created the Code of Conduct Bureau for public servants.
Yes.
And then a few other bodies, to take care, created crimes under Money Laundering Act and so on and so forth. Now, Lagos State government is now saying, look, let's look at the Constitution properly. Okay? What is the power of the federal government to prosecute, a financial crime arising out of the accounts and expenditure of the state government? Okay? But, Guru, just give me 1 minute.
Okay,
You see,
1 minute.
just 1 minute.
Yes.
You see, and there is a precursor to what Lagos state government is doing. Because in 2018, the Ekiti state government took the EFCC and a number of banks to court at the Federal High Court in Ekiti. And Justice Taiwo, was the one that entertained that case. What happened? The EFCC wrote letters inviting officials of Ekiti state government to come and explain, the movement of funds, through certain bank accounts. About 17 or 18 banks, they were made parties to the suit. And the Attorney General of Ekiti State went to the Federal High Court and said, hey, come on, what is going on here? The superintendents over the accounts of the states is the only two organs that constitutionally charged with monitoring those accounts.
Okay.
One is the State House of Assembly. The second is the Auditor General of the state. So EFCC, as a federal agency, you cannot descend into Ekiti State to challenge how state funds have been used or how they have been deployed.
This was in 2018.
This was in 2018. And the judge delivered a judgment restraining EFCC from interfering. He declared that under the Constitution, EFCC as a federal agency has no powers to interrogate the use of state funds. And that the Constitution has explicitly provided that this is under the purview of the State House of Assembly or the Office of the Auditor General of the state. So, that is the habit.
Was that the judgment of Justice Taiwo?
Yes.
And has that judgment been challenged in appellation?
It has not been challenged, to my best of my knowledge, in any superior court. So these are the things that gave the inkling to what Lagos State is doing, to say, look, as far as financial crimes concerning state funds are concerned, we will create our own agency, commission, for public complaints and anti-corruption. And in my view, they are perfectly within the ambit of the Constitution.
Prof, there are many, many questions I will throw at you, but not here, while the public is listening to us. I will draft about 80 questions. And
That's
the
a
reason
lot.
why I will forward them to you is to compare you. I will not beg this time to have a thinking, not rejigging security architecture now, but thinking of how soon you can come back. And the next time you are coming here, I give you this promise. I will not interrupt the section. I will put you on the dock in quotes now, so that people will learn more from your experience. Is this agreeable, sir?
Very well, in principle.
Oh, thank you very, very much. There's a deal.
I hope you know when I say in principle.
I understand it. What kind of video?
Before you commit me publicly.
Thank you very, very much.
Beyond redemption.
Thank you very, very much. So far, Adu, let's open the lines. Please articulate your question, but because of time, it is 1 minute to each caller, please. Please, go ahead.
0809-234-5913. 0809-234-5913. You can also call 0809-191-3913. The landline numbers 015150-913 and 015151-913. Call any of those numbers and get to us here. You can also WhatsApp us as well to join the conversation. Hello,
Yeah,
good morning.
hello?
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, how do I greet you?
Good
The
morning.
Guru.
Yes,
Good
sir.
morning, sir.
Money.
My name is Uche. I'm calling from
Go
Ikeja.
ahead. You have just 1 minute. Please.
Just 1 minute, yes. And I agree with the guest in the house. You see, the Guru,
Yes,
I
sir.
agree with your guest in one aspect. Fine. The present administration when they came in, they said they were going to restructure this country.
Yes.
They agreed to restructuring. But the guru,
Yes, sir.
Hello?
We lost you.
Uche?
Uche, you might call back.
hey, my friend.
Oh, okay. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes, good morning. Turn off your radio, please.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes,
Morning.
go ahead. What's your name? Where are you calling
Yes.
from?
My prof.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Darlington.
Oh, okay. Darlington, how are you?
Okay, Darlington.
I'm okay.
Where are you calling from?
Yeah, in Ibadan City.
Okay, please go ahead. Just have a minute, please.
We could be very short with my prof. He's my lecturer.
Yeah, go ahead. Thank you very much.
Now, prof, now that the law coming from Lagos State is inconsistent with what is in our constitution, don't you think there should be an amendment? Because I know that the federal government will not agree with Lagos State government on this particular issue. As long as it's in the constitution, is it not a subject of litigation coming here? And how do you think a case that is ongoing already will be inherited by Lagos State? Do you think there will be justice? Thank you, sir.
Okay, quickly, let me take that.
Okay, but be very brief.
I don't agree with you that it is in the constitution that the federal government can descend into the state arena to prosecute financial crimes arising out of state funds. I don't agree, and I do not see any inconsistency, with the provisions of the Constitution. That's one. The second one is the issue of whether, the state government can, by this legislation, take over existing cases. Generally, the general principle, is that criminal legislation do not have retrospective effect. Okay? In which case, if you follow that line of argument, you would then say that, why the state government can stop the EFCC from taking new cases, but they cannot go and collect old cases.
Okay.
But even that argument is flawed. Why is it flawed? Because if before this act, the federal government, through the EFCC, investigating cases that has to do with state finances is unconstitutional, then they cannot legitimately even proceed with them.
Okay. Thank you.
That would be the basis for the Lagos State government to take them.
Thank you very much.
And be the ones responsible for furthering the prosecution of those cases.
I wish Prof didn't have to
Thank
go.
you. Prof, please. You have your Bible there with you.
Yes, I do.
Please, jot some of those questions down so that we collapse them together.
Okay.
Because if I give you 3 minutes to each, then we are out of time. Go ahead.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning, real quick.
My name is Freddie.
All right, go ahead.
Hello?
Yes,
We are
please,
hearing
go
you,
ahead.
please.
Yeah, can I go ahead?
Yes,
Go
sir,
ahead,
you
sir.
may go
Okay,
ahead.
now, what I want to ask your guest is that can the federal government, the executive, spend money, one single kobo without the approval of the assembly, the National Assembly? Because we see NMPC spending money without recourse to the National Assembly. That's what I want to want your guest to explain
Thank
to
you.
us.
He will answer you towards the end.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much. God bless you.
Bugisi on WhatsApp says, I think one of our problems is Nigeria's National Assembly. 35 million naira a member takes home monthly. Is it approved by us? No. Has Mr. Smart rejected it? No. It has been established over times that inequality in financial income of Nigerians is causing problems. Minimum wage is 30,000 naira, but National Assembly members go with humongous allowances. Is it because it's getting closer to them? That's why they're crying out. We are wiser now. I can't fall for crying in front of camera. They should do the needful by calling the impeachment of the president. Then we will support them.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
Uzo from Yanakwaja says, good morning, the Guru and Adu. I think they could gather they could partner with telecoms company to secretly install those cameras. Okay, let me just start from the beginning. Governors take security votes every now and then. Why can't they use it to install cameras everywhere in their various states, mainly for tracking the nefarious activities of the men of the underworld? I think they can partner with telecom companies to secretly install those cameras, and where we don't have masts installed, a drone can be used for surveillance as routine checks at intervals within each day. I believe the security vote over the years can be used to achieve this.
Thank you. But the CCTV camera awarded in Abuja, suppose we are talking of billions in dollars. They came on board for 48 hours and they died. Go ahead.
Boogiezy on Twitter says, I agree with your guest totally. The problem of Nigeria has been long time coming, but it's escalated now. If you want to understand the issues, I recommend 3 Yoruba home videos. Soworo Ide, Agogo Ewo, Shawore Ide. He wrote Soworo Ide. Agogo Ewo and Koshegbe. Says if you watch those movies, we'll get a perspective. Okay. Thank you for your thoughts.
You return back to Twitter later.
Yes, I have good phone lines. Hello, good morning.
Okay, good morning, sir.
Yes, go ahead. Good morning.
Daddy Guru, I salute you, sir.
I salute you with respect.
Yes, sir. My question to our prof is that, please, as regards this our National Assembly, now that we know that they are not ready to do the right thing, what do you think we can do? Because this country belongs to all of us, not only these senators. Please, what can we do?
Thank you. Your question is noted. Please, sir, put it down. Go ahead.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Kende Money is on the line.
All right, Kende.
I'm calling from Iju.
All right, go ahead, Kende.
On the issue of Lagos state law on the anti-corruption, I think if it is this current House of Assembly in Lagos State that are proposing that, I think there will be no justice that will come out of it. The Lagos State, to me, I think you can't be a judge on your own case. I will still prefer the EFCC or the federal government to be prosecuting any criminal or any issue that has to do with corruption in the state. You see, the best thing we can that is the way we can get justice. But leaving it for state, I think there will be no justice. Just like the case of
thank you very much.
Delta State.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The law has been made. The law is subject to interrogation. You can question it. You can go to court and question it. But it has been made by the president. Move ahead, please.
Adeboyega on Twitter says, I don't know if our distinguished guest will agree with me that PMB, from his actions and inactions, isn't aware of what is going on in the country, because no man will sleep under a burning roof and will not take action.
PMB is President Muhammad Buhari.
Yes, he says, are we on a ghost ride?
Okay.
Back to the phone lines. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Adu.
Good morning, Mr. Adeyemi. How are you doing today?
Many thanks indeed. Yeah, I'm very fine. Good morning to the great guru.
Yes.
I salute you, sir.
And to the distinguished son.
Professor, yes, son.
Professor. My worry is this. When you make a law that is not fair, Professor, a law that is not fair to the polity and to the population, should you allow such a law to stand? The federal government releases money to states, and we know that states are not generating more than internal revenue. They are generating money in the center, and then you give the money to the state, and then you under a particular law that it has to be superintended. Then you are saying no, it is now our money. You cannot take a look at it again. I think that's an unfair law.
Okay, the professor will answer to you towards the end of the program. Thank you very much. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Mr. Yemi. On WhatsApp, this one is from who now? Tomiwa. It says, good morning, Adu and the Guru, sir. It says, based on our yesterday's topic on divorce and remarriage in my church, I have the following 4 questions. What God has joined together, let no man put asunder. But what about what force or deceit has joined together? 2, if an adulterous partner is sober, apologetic, and repentant, contracted a disease, the process should a partner be accepted back 3. If a divorced partner is yet to die, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I think this is in some kind of paradox to Nigeria.
Yeah, of course. We would thank him.
Okay.
But maybe he will take the matter back to the church for proper interrogation. Go ahead.
Still on WhatsApp. This one is...
Wow, time is on it.
Good morning, Mr. Adu and Aguro. I don't understand why Tinubu's wife was attacking Senator Adeyemi. We have not even agreed to vote for her husband, and she's already showing a narcissistic characteristic. Come 2023, we don't need any election with this same constitution and same set of people. Either we rewrite a new constitution or they give us something to hold on it, because I'm tired of the old people with no logical sequence of what a country should be like. He says either APC or PDP.
If they are finding it difficult to introduce the
Police Act.
No, electioneering reform processes. Is it constitution they will give to you between now and 2023?
I think because of time, Prof can go ahead to answer some of the
Please,
questions.
sir, answer those questions that you noted down. You have only 2 minutes for that.
Quickly, let me begin with the last. Because the federal government, the state governments go cap in hand to collect money from the federal government, therefore, whether it is fair or not fair for the same federal government to be able to question the use of those funds. Well, the short answer to that is we must look at the Constitution. The Constitution has provided parameters for monitoring the use of those funds at the state level. And all we are simply saying is, going by the Constitution, as Justice Taiwo rightly held, and I agree with him, that within the ambit of the provisions of the Constitution, the State House of Assembly is the lawful body to interrogate use of funds, and the State Auditor General with respect to use of state funds. But don't also ignore the broader aspect of this state law that talks about public complaints and anti-corruption. Okay, so it goes beyond the scope of, utilization of state funds. It actually will give this new commission powers to be able to delve into corruption in the public service of the state, and in parastatals owned by the state. Okay, and then it also gives vent for members of the public to be able to file complaints. Someone has said that, the SARS panels that are holding presently should actually become a permanent feature of our landscape, so that when you suffer police brutality, just like the petition that has been written to you, Guru, that you alluded to, you referred to this morning, a body like that will entertain such complaints and regularly summon the relevant officials, and then dispense justice in the court of the people, as it were. Okay. So I don't think it's a question of whether it is fair or not. It's a question of what the Constitution says. Whether there will be justice from a state government, prosecuting or, attending to corruption cases arising in the state. Well, I don't see how that is a problem. Okay? The state government, as a unit of governance, should be able to interrogate cases of corruption and cases of financial financial crime. Sorry, okay, Guru. Okay. Then the big question: if the National Assembly has failed, what can we do? All right, we'll prepare for 2023
and vote out.
And vote the government of our choice. Someone has said that, look, PDP has not been a solution. APC has not been a solution. Maybe we should galvanize our efforts and look for one of the younger parties with vibrant persons, knowledgeable persons who are ready to take on, critical issues of nationhood and governance.
Thank you very much, Prof.
Wow.
Nelson Mandela call it a long walk to freedom. Jerusalem is still far, still a land of Eldorado. It's still a far place to achieve. But with the grace of God, we shall. Professor, we thank you very, very much for coming here today to share your experience with us, mostly as it involved terror. We really did not discuss too much about the terror because of the time, and like my promise, next time you are coming in, please, I will give you the whole time. I will give you about 1 hour. I have only given you such time to only one person, the managing director of the Niger Ports Authority, Adiza Bala Usman. But I don't mind giving it to you.
Thank you.
We find solution through the instrumentality of our constitution. We'll go for that. But still sit down because we are rounding up. We want to go for, please, bring it up.
It's time for Knowledge Drop Box.
Yes, you are welcome to today's Knowledge Drop Box. The Knowledge Drop Box today is going to talk, because of time, we will share it into 2 segments. We tackle the first segment today. Next week, Monday, by the grace of God, we'll finish the second segment. It's talking about Idris Deby, the Chadian head of state who was killed a few days ago in action. One good quality about that man is that as a head of state who had been in that country for over 28 years, because he came to power on December 4th, 1998, is that he would always be ahead of his troops, his country troops, into any battle. He never sit behind a receiving report. No. He will never move to the theater of operations and sit behind that. No. He will be at head. He will be the commander for. Because in the military, you have what you call commander for and commander rear. When Murtala Mohammed was commander for the second div, Olusegun Obasanjo was commander rear. But he would always be ahead of that. That is good news about him. And of course, another thing he did very, very successfully is multiplication of wives. Why he held the presidency down. I think I will stop there today. His children, you can't just put a tab on them and count them. Maybe if you start today, it will take a week before you can finish counting the children. And he did not go by the Quranic injunction that says 4 is your limit. If you want to marry 5, then you divorce one of the 4. Then you put another. No. He was accumulating them. For example, the first wife, Zina Waziri Deby. The second one, Hajia Halima Deby. He went ahead to take Hinda Mamati Abdurrahim as his fourth wife in 2005. And he went ahead to acquire more. And the more, there is no end to counting. Audu Ali Boye Deby, Saad Zakaria, Abdullah Deby, Hao Tojei, Toho Deby, Ashek Kuma Deby. And of course, like as I said, his children are so many. Next week, I will give you the breakdown, the number of children that had most essential positions in the government, in and out. Where he died now, his son, who has taken over now, is already a 4-star general. And he has about 3 like that, who are 4-star general. And at the end of the calculation, I will give you office by office so the Army Council that eventually decided that no, this is the only man who says the man will be cut short by bullet, the son should take over. And turned parliamentary democracy into a coup matter overnight. We have reason of doing that because he has saturated the whole places with all his children and about 4 of his nephews and 2 of his nieces. By the time we come to the end of the day, we will only see that the man with his Pan-Africanism and the man who proclaims himself as white as snow, Mele Cland, C-L-A-N-E-D, the whole of Chad with his own offspring. And it is for this reason that the decision of the people was that because if we bring another person, the children are holding strategic position enough that they will approve that person. So let us go. The collapse parliamentary democracy for coup acceptance. Because what they have there now is a council. There's no more parliamentary this thing. All right. I think I try to stop it there. Next week, we'll finish it. I will give you the number of the children. They are 30. that are holding strategic positions. Security, in the military, in the external affairs, in the internal affairs, in ambassadorial, in everything. So the man turned the whole of Chad into his private property.
That's
so,
2 full football teams with reserves.
Yeah, with reserve. Yes, a football team is constant of
11.
11 plus 11, that's 22. Here we have 30. And this 30 are without the nieces and the nephews. So that is the type of country he developed. All right, Professor Joseph, we want to appreciate you once again. Your coming, we are not taking it for granted.
Thank you so much.
God will bless you as you honor us. And more so for the promise, technically or principally or whatever.
On principle.
That's okay, principle or technicality. Whatever happens, you will come again. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. So we have appointment next week, Monday, but don't forget tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, I shall be here for Money Ride. And of course, I give you these details. You can take them away. I give you a promise that every event that happened at the floor of the Senate that day, that 109 of them agreed to meet Buhari, to tell Buhari, you've lost it, except the wife of Bola Tinubu. I would upload them into my website by 5 p.m. this evening. If it is the last thing I will do, with the last strength of me, I will do it. So you can visit from the 9th and you will get everything. But please, my Twitter, the handle is @Godwin_Buebu. Buebu is pronounced as, spelled as Buebu, @Godwin_Buebu. Then Godwin Itakiwebu is there on Facebook. Then I have a page I created in Facebook for discussing issues like this, which is Vetra Column. The V of the Vetra is capital letter. The C of the column is capital letter. Vetra Column. You can go there. And of course, I've given you the website. I'm giving it back to you once again. www.godwintheguru.com. Please go there to upload all this. And of course, you can follow me on my Facebook, on my YouTube channel, Godwin the Guru. Please go there, subscribe. It costs you no money anyway, because when we hear subscription, it's like we are paying money. No. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. And the discussion continues. Tomorrow we are meeting again. But until Monday, even till tomorrow, till Wednesday, till Monday, please keep yourself out of trouble. Bye-bye.
We are Lagostalks 91.3.
Let's talk.